This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. So the Browns have just made an interesting move. They signed Tyler Huntley to what appears to be the quarterback 3 or 4 position, or at least to compete for the third quarterback spot on the roster, which is very, very interesting. They already signed Jameis Winston. And a lot of different theories came to people's mind when the Browns signed Tyler Huntley, who's certainly a qualified backup quarterback. One, does this mean that the Browns aren't going to sign Jameis Winston? Right? Like Jameis Winston is going to be signed post-June 1st because he's a post-June 1st cut. So he's technically not a free agent yet, but he's designated to get cut after June 1st, which means the Browns can't make it official until June 1st or 2nd, right? So did they decide they don't want to go that direction? I highly doubt that. One, Tyler Huntley's deal is in a different world than Jameis's deal. Jameis's is $4 million. Tyler Huntley's is the vet minimum. So it doesn't seem like that's who they're signing to be the backup quarterback for the team. Another thing to note is that just the optics and the ethics of doing that would be horrible if you're the Cleveland Browns. Like that would be something that wouldn't be worth it, like to save the $2 million that you would save for not signing Jameis. It wouldn't be worth it because agents are going to see you do something like that where you just decide to renege on a deal that you designated for June 1st and not really want to work with you in good faith again. So I doubt that they're trying to do that. That would be not worth the risk of the relationships that they could strain on the business side of this football thing. So I don't think this has anything to do with Jameis. Then people were asking, are they worried about Deshaun Watson's shoulder? Like, is it not where they expect it to be? Now, all evidence points to the contrary, that Deshaun Watson's going to be back for the spring. He's going to be ready to throw, and that he's going to be able to participate in training camp and in the spring and all of that, and that's on track where it's supposed to be. Now, we know Deshaun Watson's shoulder has been the mystery shoulder. It has healed at its own rate, but it seems like from all of the reports that we're getting that it is fine. It is also worth noting that those reports are why there was so much chaos around the shoulder injuries to begin with, because they were so inconsistent, especially coming from the Cleveland Browns side. So I can understand people not wanting to trust that. But I don't think this move is about that, because if Deshaun Watson hurts his shoulder or his shoulder's not ready, then that just means Jameis steps in and then DTR is the backup, and you should feel fine about that. But if you don't feel fine about DTR being the backup in any situation, then ding, 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 I think we found what the issue is. I think this is more, and I said this in my video when they signed Jameis, this says more to me about how the team feels about DTR more than where Deshaun's shoulder is, or if they're going to go through with the Jameis Winston deal. I think this says everything about where they think DTR is. Now, try to step out of where you are personally on DTR, right? I like DTR as a prospect. I also think that people get DTR's fit wrong. People see that DTR can run fast. They see he's a great athlete, and they assume that he plays similar to Deshaun Watson. He does not play similar to Deshaun Watson. I have always said on this channel, as long as he's been a Cleveland Brown, people get his comp wrong all the time. I think DTR is much more similar to Brock Purdy than he is Deshaun Watson. Like DTR is better to me, or has shown that he's better in these situations where he's in a heavily scripted offense and he's asked to be accurate and on time with his feet, right? That's where DTR is at his best. When he can get to a 3-step drop, throw that ball and know where to go with it. When he can get to a 5-step drop, throw that ball and know where to go to it. 7-step drop. He's capable of making some really nice throws. He has good arm talent and he's a good player when he's asked to do that stuff. So he's a West Coast kind of quarterback, right? He's the kind of quarterback you would want in the Shanahan system. He's the kind of quarterback you would want in a Kubiak system or just any kind of West Coast offense where you're not asking him to attack downfield and throw the ball downfield a ton. We saw what happened. And let's go back to that Baltimore game because when we saw that Baltimore game, I think the general analysis of it was that, hey, he wasn't prepared. And that went on Kevin Stefanski. And I think somewhat fairly so it went on Kevin. Some of it went on Deshaun for not making a decision earlier. And some of it went on the Browns in general for not making that decision for Deshaun Watson. But one of the things that got lost in there was, okay, it is one thing for DTR as a rookie backup quarterback to be unprepared for playing in an NFL game. But it's a whole nother thing to look like you just don't know what the game plan is. And there were times in that Baltimore game where I'm like, he doesn't even know what the play is or what the game plan is or what they're trying to attack here. And also, what was evident to me is when you ask him to attack plays like you would ask Deshaun Watson to attack plays, right? And we know how Deshaun likes to attack plays. He likes to look deep, then work his way back to the shallow stuff, right? DTR cannot work deep. We saw this. He can't throw the ball downfield with accuracy, at least right now in his progression as an NFL quarterback. That's just not how he can attack. So if you're going to lean more into Deshaun Watson's play style than you were last year, you're also leaning away from not just Joe Flacco, but more so DTR. Because if you want to become a downfield attacking offense, well, you sign Jameis Winston to be your backup quarterback. You sign Tyler Huntley to back up Jameis. What you don't do is keep DTR as the backup. And that's why I think they're signing all of these quarterbacks, because I don't think DTR is really in their future plans. I think that there's a possibility that they trade him. Not because DTR is such a terrible quarterback prospect that he can't be on the team anymore and that he's garbage and that he's trash. That's not what I'm saying. Please listen to what I'm saying. What I am saying is that when you look at what DTR excels at, when you look at how DTR excels at what he excels at as a quarterback, it just does not line up with where the Browns want to go. It's not a fit. And a quarterback can be talented, a quarterback can be good, but if that quarterback's not in a decent fit, it's not going to look right. It's the whole complaint about Deshaun. It hasn't looked right because it ain't been in the right fit. Now they're trying to get the right fit around him. Maybe it will look right. That's the same thing with DTR. They're moving away from a fit for Deshaun, which means, well, they're moving away from something that did fit DTR to something that fits Deshaun Watson. If this offense is going to ask the quarterback position to consistently attack downfield with guys like Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, then what is the purpose of DTR being in there? When DTR is at best when he's attacking between 10 to 20 yards, well, 10 to 30 yards. See what I mean? It's just not a fit. I think there are plenty of other teams that would like to go get DTR. And if also we're talking about Andrew Berry trading one of these quarterbacks, well, you signed Jameis Winston to be your backup, so it wouldn't make much sense to trade Jameis, right? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They get a good enough offer, but I don't think it would make sense. Like, you signed him to a big boy backup quarterback contract, so I don't think that's where you're going with this. Tyler Huntley just signed for the vet minimum, which means if a team really wanted Tyler Huntley, they could have had Tyler Huntley. So who's trading for Tyler Huntley at this moment? I don't think anybody is. And then you have DTR, who not only does not fit where you want to go at the quarterback position as far as his play style, who you might have concerns about his preparation skills because of what he showed you when he was entrusted with the backup position. And then even like when he started those games, like it was admittedly a very limited version of that offense. So you might have your concerns about DTR as a prospect, you know, his ability to adjust based on what you saw last year, on top of the fact that you realize that he's not as much as a fit as he was last year. So you have that going on, right, with DTR. And then if you look at all the quarterbacks in the Browns room, the one that has trade value right now is DTR, which is he's the one guy who's young enough, not available enough that teams would be willing to trade for him, right? If I'm a team and I'm staring down the barrel of drafting Spencer Rattler in the 3rd round, Bo Nix in the 3rd round, or trading a 4th or 5th round pick for DTR, DTR is a much more attractive option. I think DTR is just a flat out better prospect than Spencer Rattler and Bo Nix. Like, DTR has better arm talent than Bo Nix. DTR is a much, much, much better athlete than Bo Nix. And DTR is the same age as Bo Nix and has started in NFL games already in his career. So, he's more ready to go out there. Bo Nix has played a lot of football. DTR played a ton of football in college, right? He's actually played some football in the NFL as well. He's a plus level athlete. There's stuff that you can still do with him. But even that, right, the plus level athlete stuff, it doesn't make sense for the Browns to keep him on the roster because Tyler Huntley's also a plus level athlete. It just feels like Tyler Huntley's here to replace DTR in the event that they get a good trade for DTR. Now what? Justin Fields just went for a 6th round pick, a conditional 6th round pick, but you have to remember he's out of his rookie contract at this point, right? He's on the last year of that deal, so he's a 1-year rental. DTR has 3 years left of his rookie contract, which means while somebody like Justin Fields, who has more experience, was a higher draft pick, might go for a 6, you could get a 4th out of DTR because he has 3 years of control. It's much more like just drafting a player, right? So that's why the trade values be different. And for those of you who want me to comment on the Justin Fields, the Pittsburgh thing, I saw a lot of people making a huge deal out of this. I'm going to be honest with you. I was never a big fan of Justin Fields as an NFL prospect to begin with. I have not really changed my opinion on that. I know that some people have reverence for him because he was very good at Ohio State when he was there. But for me, he's just another dude. Right. And I don't think he fits what Arthur Smith wants to do. And it's interesting that the Steelers have him and Russell Wilson competing for the starting job when I think they both are horrible fits for what they want to do in an Arthur Smith system. But, I'm not really concerned about it. I said in the Q&A before, I'm not really concerned about the prospect of Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, let alone them both being on the same team. I'll let them figure out that whole situation. The only thing I'm worried about with the Steelers is their defense and Mike Tomlin. So not really too concerned about the whole Justin Fields thing at all. But that's why DTR's trade value will be higher or could be higher than somebody like Justin Fields. Because again, it's about the years and the money left on the contract. He's a late round pick who has 3 years of control on his contract. And I think you even get 3 years of control, and maybe you even get the tender year. So you have that if you trade for DTR versus Justin Fields, who you can rent for 1 year and then you have to pay, which is going to evidently be much higher than what DTR is. So the price tag over 3 years is significantly lower from a money standpoint, which means you're willing to pay more draft capital for it. So for anybody who gets confused on this, the less money that the trade is going to cost you over a period of time, the more draft compensation you can get when it comes to most other players. Quarterback deals are different, but for most other trades, if you have a guy under contract for a good number for 3 years, a team would be willing to part with a pretty high draft compensation for that player versus a 1-year rental type situation where they're not going to be willing to part with that many assets. So that's what I think about this whole Tyler Huntley signing with the Browns thing. It's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. But I think that's what this indicates to me, is that the Browns may be more open than a lot of people assume to trading DTR. And they might be signaling that with Tyler Huntley before the draft. It's to saying to teams basically, hey, you want to get a 4th round pick and you want to get DTR, who you think is probably better than most of these other guys coming off the board here, when you're going to be looking to draft a quarterback, go ahead and do it. Or a team might not be able to get the quarterback that they want. Let's say a team has their eyes on JJ McCartney in the 2nd or 1st round. They can't get him, and they want somebody who fits that Kubiak style. They might look at DTR, trading for him, as a better option than going out and getting Bo Nix with the 3rd or Spencer Rattler. So we'll see what happens, but I think that's the direction that we're headed in. We'll see. But yeah, that's an interesting move by the Browns. We'll see how it goes going forward, but y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.